Hello everyone, welcome back all of you. In today's session we are going to have discussion on pressure measurement, and in the pressure measurement we are going to have discussion on three types of measurement: high pressure measurement, low pressure measurement, and then at the end we'll proceed with the differential type of pressure measurement. And before we jump into the individual type of pressure measurements, first let us define what actually the pressure is, and all these measurement how we are going to define whether it is high pressure, low pressure, or is it a differential pressure. So for that first we need to have the look of what does it mean by pressure. So pressure is nothing but it is given as force per unit area. So now if we are talking about high pressure or low pressure, in that case we are going to take the reference as atmospheric pressure. And what does it mean by atmospheric pressure? The atmosphere of the earth is going to apply force on the surface area of the earth. So that force per unit the area of the surface, it is going to be given as atmospheric pressure. So and also I would like to make it clear now itself that the value of atmospheric pressure is going to change with respect to the location. For example, if right now I am at sea level, the atmospheric pressure is going to be different, and if I go at little higher level than that of sea level, the atmospheric pressure is going to vary. Or in the same case, if I am going lower than that of sea level, the atmospheric pressure is going to change. So but you might have one confusion in the mind that PATM is given as 10 to the power 5 Newton per meter square, which is calculated based on the barometer. So what is that? So make yourself clear that that is nothing but standard atmospheric pressure. So that is taken with reference to the sea level. So that is standard atmospheric pressure, but the value of atmospheric pressure can vary with respect to the location. So that you have to keep in mind. And whatever the measurement, whether high pressure measurement or low pressure measurement with respect to the atmospheric pressure we are going to do, that atmospheric pressure is going to vary location to location. For example, I have one instrument which is going to give you the high pressure measurement, but right now I am using it at one particular location, and on the other day I wish to use it and on the another location. So in that case, if we take this particular PATM as standard atmospheric pressure, which is going to give 10 to the power 5 Newton per meter square, so in that case that reference we need to maintain at every time. So that is going to be little difficult part. So that's why this PATM is not at all the standard atmospheric pressure. This is going to be the just atmospheric pressure, which is going to vary location to location. So at any location we are going to compare our pressure whether high or low with respect to the atmosphere. So if we have the value of pressure greater than that of our reference atmosphere, we are going to call it as high pressure. And I have taken the example as considering there is one cylinder which is having P1, which is greater than our reference atmospheric pressure. So P1 minus PATM is going to give you the gauge pressure, and in this particular case the value of gauge pressure is going to come as positive 1. Whether in the whereas in the second case I have taken the example of another cylinder, but the pressure inside the cylinder is lower than that of outside reference atmospheric pressure. So in that case gauge pressure is going to be P2 minus PATM, and that value is going to be negative 1. So keep in mind, the conclusion is the gauge pressure can have either positive value as well as negative value. And talking about the atmospheric pressure, right, we are saying there is some pressure. So that atmospheric pressure, with what reference we are going to call it, that is known as reference pressure or absolute zero. So the atmospheric pressure at any point of time is measured with respect to the absolute zero, and we call it as absolute pressure. So this is the complete idea about high pressure, low pressure. Is reference is our normal atmospheric pressure, and that atmospheric pressure, if we wish to measure, that is going to be measured with respect to the absolute pressure. And as I was talking about standard atmospheric pressure, that is calculated at sea level. So this experiment, with the help of experiment, the mercury of the height of the mercury is going to come out as 760 mm. So based on that, using rho gh, we are going to calculate 10 to the power 5. So that is standard thing, just to make you believe that standard atmospheric pressure and atmospheric pressure, normal atmospheric pressures are different. So don't confuse yourself with that particular thing. And proceeding further, and another terminology we are not yet discussed, that is going to be differential pressure. So what is happening in the case of high pressure measurement or low pressure measurement, we have the reference as the vacuum, whereas in the case of atmospheric pressure measurement, high pressure and low pressure, the reference is atmospheric pressure, and in the case of standard atmospheric pressure, the reference was vacuum, right? But in the case of differential pressure measurement, we are not going to have any reference at all. In that case, we are going to have two values of pressure, pressure 1 and pressure 2, and simply we are going to just compare them, and will try to find the difference between them. So that is going to be the differential pressure. So whereas even high pressure and low pressure also are the kind of differential pressure only. Why? Because high pressure we are taking the reference as PATM, so that also is differential pressure, right? The reference plus gauge pressure is going to be the P1. So these two are also differential pressure only because they also have reference, the atmosphere. So but in our terminology, what actually we call it differential pressure is that in that case there is no reference, and we are going to have two pressure P1 and P2, and we are going to measure the difference of them. So in the case of high pressure, we are going to have look of C types of Bourdon tube, then diaphragm, bellows, and then strain gauges. So numerical point of view, only strain gauge can have the calculation part, but just for the understanding purpose, we must know about the Bourdon tube, diaphragm, and bellows as well. And in the case of low pressure measurement, we have 5 types of gauges: Pirani gauge, thermocouple gauge, ionization gauge, McLeod gauge, and Knudsen gauge. But in the gauge point of view, we'll have the look of only these three: Pirani, thermocouple, and ionization. And in the case of differential pressure measurement, as we already talked about flow measurement, right? So in the case of mechanical flow meters, we have to calculate first the delta P part, that differential pressure. Either it is venturi or orifice. So in that case, we are going to make use of U type of manometer or inclined U tube U type of manometer. So these are the main parts which we are going to focus in the high pressure measurement, low pressure measurement, and differential one. So let us proceed with the basic understanding of high pressure one, and then I'll talk little basic things about differential one, and the low pressure measurement we are going to cover it in the next session. Having understood about the high pressure measurement, we have the clear idea that the reference in the case of high pressure measurement is going to be the normal atmospheric pressure. So the first one which we are going to discuss in high pressure measurement is in Bourdon tube. So Bourdon tube is nothing but it has C type of shape, and if we are applying the pressure greater than that of atmospheric pressure, this particular end of the tube is going to feel some elongation in that, and due to that the mechanical coupling is going to give the deflection on the pointer. So when the value of pressure we are applying P1, if it is the normal atmospheric pressure only, means we are not applying any high pressure, so in that case the pointer is going to rest at 0 position. And in the other case, if we are applying some pressure more than that of the atmosphere in which we are doing the experiment, so it is going to give the deflection. And the example for that is we use instrument Bourdon gauge in the case of measuring the air pressure inside the tire. So we have one mouth something like this, and we have one indicating dial on top of our instrument, so which is going to tell us that how much pressure is inside the tire. So that pressure inside the tire is going to be with respect to the atmospheric outside. So and moving further with the second case, diaphragm. This case we have already discussed in the capacitive measurement. So the diaphragm, if we are applying pressure which is greater than that of atmospheric pressure, so diaphragm is going to give the deflection. And if we are able to attach one particular metal plate on that diaphragm, so we will be able to form one capacitance, and using that capacitance, change in the capacitance, we can get the electrical output also. And in the third case, we are making use of bellows. So again the same thing, if P1 is equal to the atmospheric pressure, the bellow is going to be in the initial condition, and whenever we are going to apply the more pressure than that of atmospheric pressure, so the high pressure is going to push the bellow in this particular direction. So based on that, we are going to feel some displacement in the spring. So and with the help of mechanical arrangements, we can feel how much the contraction in the spring is taking place. And in the final case, strain gauge, we are already aware of this particular concept also, that this is going to work on the principle of strain, that force per unit area, if we are applying the pressure on that, the changes in the geometry of the resistance gauge is going to take place. So these are all the basic ideas about the high pressure measurement, and now we'll And also you might be wondering that there is nothing actually doing mathematical things, so why we are actually discussing, because the reason behind that is you should have the must have the theoretical idea. If in case if I am forming the question on board on tube, I can say the theta is going to be the function of p1, and I can give the expression as theta equal to uh, a p1 plus b p1 square, something like that. And if now I am saying that I have given some pressure value as more than that of atmospheric pressure, let's say 10 times of atmospheric pressure, and in that case I wish to know the value of angle. So in that case, if you are not even like thorough with the theoretical concept, you will not be able to solve this particular question. So that's why even if some places theoretical concept exists, so you must not ignore them. You should have the basic idea about them. So now we'll proceed further with the differential pressure measurement. And now in the case of differential pressure measurement, as I mentioned earlier, that we are not going to have any reference in the differential, means we are just going to have the difference of two pressures P1 and P2. And the example also I said, in the case of mechanical type of flow meter, we wish to calculate the differential pressure first, then only we will be able to calculate the value of flow rate. So because the flow rate is going to come out as proportional to square root over of pressure difference. So how we are going to do that? With the help of U type of manometer. So U type of manometer, this P1, usually how we actually do this kind of problem, we assume them as the gases, right? So instead of gases, just because we have this kind of pictures in our mind from before itself, that's why I have considered them as ball, or you can directly just feel them like is the legs are coming from the venturimeter. So the pressure inside this one particular bulb is P1, and on this particular bulb is P2. And now we wish to calculate the pressure difference P1 minus P2. So taking the help of law of hydrostatic, that pressure at this particular point, whether we are coming from this side or coming from that side, it is going to be same only. So I am assuming the height of P1 is going to be Z1 and the height of P2 is going to be Z2. So the diagram right now it is horizontal one. For example, if I am taking this venturimeter something like this or something like this, so the Z1 is going to be higher one and Z2 is going to be the lower one. So in the beginning itself I am not taking it as a horizontal one. So I am assuming that there are different elevations of the legs of the manometer. So this height is taken as Z1 and this height is taken as Z2. And now we'll try to write the total pressure at this particular point. So we'll come from this side first. So P1 plus, we have to come at this point. So rho GH. So rho is going to be the density of the fluid inside the pipeline, and G and height is going to be, this is Z1 and this height I have taken as Y, because whenever the P1 is high, the mercury is going to displace something like this. So the side which has higher pressure is going to be downward, and the side which has lower pressure will have the height of mercury little up. So this height at this particular side I have taken as H, and the difference of height is going to be taken as HM. So Z1 minus, we have to do Y to come to this point. So rho Z Z1 minus Y. So instead of this point, we'll equate the pressure at these 2 points on this line, because additional, if we write rho G by both sides, will get cancelled, so no use. So in the case second side, if coming from that side, P2 plus rho G, and this point is going to be Z2 minus this particular height is Y, and the height difference in the legs of mercury is HM. So this total is Y plus HM, and from Z2 we have to first subtract Y plus HM, because this particular length only we have the fluid over there. So rho G Z2 minus Y plus HM, right? And still we are at this point, we have to come at this particular point. So again plus rho G, and height is HM, plus rho G HM we have to do. And now we just need to simplify this. So we'll take P1 plus rho G Z1 minus rho G Y is equal to P2 plus rho G Z2 minus rho G Y minus rho G hm plus rho g hm. This should be rho m, right? Because we have the mercury in this particular leg of the manometer. So hm height has rho m as the like mercury as the fluid. So now we have to simplify this. Minus rho gh minus rho g y will get cancelled, and p1 plus rho g z1 is going to be p2 plus rho z z2 minus rho g hm plus rho m g hm. So p2 will take this side because p1 is greater than p2. So p1 minus p2 will write it as delta p, and all the other terms will take the right side. So we'll take g hm as common in these two terms, and we'll write them as rho m minus rho. Okay, and these two terms also rho g will take common plus rho g, and we'll write them as z2 minus z1. Okay, so now what we have with us, delta p by rho. This term we can calculate, right? Delta p by rho, if we divide the complete expression by rho, so this will become delta p by rho, this also will become rho, and this rho and rho gets cancelled. So delta p by rho, and minus, if we take this g is z2 minus z1, if we take that side and if we write it in terms of plus only, so this will become as z1 minus z2, and the leftover part will be g hm into rho m by rho minus 1. So the rho I have taken inside, this will become rho m by rho, and this will become minus. So we can see we are getting something similar, that delta p by rho plus g times of z1 minus z2. So if we take 2 outside, we are going to get q is equal to the same term will be there, and we'll get it as 2 times of g hm into rho m by rho minus 1, right? So now instead of calculating the delta p by simply seeing the height in the mercury column hm, the putting the value simply over here, we already have the values of rho m and rho. Rho m is the density of mercury, and rho is the density of fluid. We can simply directly calculate the value of flow. So that's the basic idea how we are actually going to make use of differential pressure measurement. And that is all for this particular session. In the next session, we'll have the discussion on the low pressure measurement, and if you have any doubt, you are free to ask in the comment section. Thank you.